is Dr. Saths President of the Pan-African Psychology Unit, and we are going to be talking about the youth of South Africa today, being one of the days of Youth Month. We've just come out of June 16 last week, Monday, and I'm kind of wondering what are the type of answers we give to young people in the country today. There's a lot of disillusionment, despair, and and total um, kind of dejection as far as youth are concerned regarding promises made by government to uplift the youth of the country. So the one big question is, will reclaiming the Freedom Charter restore power to the people, particularly our youth here in South Africa? Very good morning to you, Dr. Saths. Nice to have you on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
Would you like to respond to my open commentary to the interview, please?
Well, look, it's a fact that the majority in our country are young people. It's also true that they are effectively, the overwhelming majority of them, out of work and out of any active citizen participation in our democracy. They have the highest unemployment in the country, which has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Our country is the richest on the continent, but all around us, we see the human degradation merely because those who had control in the past of the economy still retain that. And further, some of their representatives try to claim that they are being victims of our democracy. So you have these vast contradictions, but also plain lies that get put out. And when you put out certain tropes out there over time, it begins to seem like it's real. And people play victim all the time. Our youth are out of any active participation in social, in economic, in even religious and other systems in the country. So effectively, our youth play a very little role in what is happening. And being the majority, this is very dangerous for the society because we will not be able to sustain this kind of system for much longer. Remember, in July 2021, we had a huge outpouring and there was mayhem. Now, it will take a little trigger to spur that on. Remember, we've had on the continent, the Arab Spring, this is also the month where it's the 49th anniversary of June 16th. And on the 25th and 26th, people met at Kliptown to adopt the Freedom Charter. So this month is a significant month, and there needs to be some serious thought about reviewing how we regard ourselves, how we regard our country, and particularly how we regard our children.
I kind of wonder about the Freedom Charter and, of course, our leaders, Ramaphosa and all other political parties. What needs to happen, and soon? You can't have different commissions and inquiries, etc., because that takes forever, and it costs money as well. So it's more taxpayers' money going down a big black hole. What needs to happen immediately so that we can see short and long term results regarding a change, a turn for the better as far as our youth is concerned. Because if we don't, you mentioned the Arab Spring, and undoubtedly these type of scenarios have played out in other countries as well. Um, we might see that happening. We might see a repetition of July 2021, or we might see something even much, much worse. Something has to be done. In your mind, what do you believe needs to be done, and so that we can start seeing results? We can start giving a glimmer of hope to the future leaders of this country, and that, of course, is our youth.
Okay, there are quite a few things that need to be done, but to be very specific, we need to change how we include everybody in our country's governing and in government processes. The Freedom Charter is but a guide to that. And let me say right out, there are aspects of the Freedom Charter that are problematic. However, if 1/10 of that Freedom Charter were to be implemented, we would be far off better than we are now. The commitment isn't there by national and other leadership in various sectors to even think about this document, which is actually 70 years old, and whether people who trot it out. Yeah, the president does that. Leadership from the ANC constantly do it. They use the Freedom Charter as their Bible. But in reality, it's thrown aside. So there isn't the will, the desire, and the ability to see things seriously change. That's why we fall back on old systems that we've learned from colonial and oppressive times. When the Union of South Africa was formed, and it was thought about and in the first decade of the 20th century, and eventually in 1910, the Union of South Africa was formed. From there, the exclusion of anybody who was white began. Land just got taken away. Economic system that prevailed was white-owned. That system is in many respects still prevalent now. And in the Freedom Charter, it says no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people that have been robbed of their birthright to land, liberty, and peace by a form of government founded on injustice and inequality. The injustice and inequality persist today. And it goes on to say, our country will never be prosperous or free until all people live in brotherhood, enjoying equal rights and opportunities, and only a democratic state based on the will of the people can secure all these birthrights. Right? Now, and that's in the preamble. Largely, Julie, our Constitution has taken almost verbatim aspects of the Freedom Charter into it. And there lies the problem. When you start to say South Africa belongs to all who live in it, the majority don't own. In fact, the statistics are stark. 70 plus percent of the arable agricultural land is in the hands of whites. They're a minority. They've always been a minority. They claim citizenship elsewhere as well as in this country. And more recently, that silly phenomenon of them claiming refugee status and a few of them wanting to come back. So there's a whole lot of things that have been happening. And we haven't dealt with our past effectively. There hasn't been a recognition that we inherited a system that was intended for a minority, whites, and it still perpetuates. in all areas of social, recreational work and other activities, you see white privilege prevail. We talk of our areas as townships and locations. We talk of their areas as suburbs. So already in our own minds, we've given up thinking about us belonging in the entire country. Of course, some of us have moved into those areas, but there isn't any community, there isn't that brotherhood that is braided in the Freedom Charter. We just live in those areas and then foregather somewhere else. We
So,
don't do the,
Professor,
yeah,
right, let me come in here. A couple of issues that I want to touch with you is we know that certain politicians have long been talking about land restitution without compensation. If that has to happen, do you think it would address part of the problem? Because
no,
it's not only about land restitution. That's
no,
number
no,
one.
of course.
Number two, we keep referring to uh, the um, the majority of the land being in the hands of the white. We see what is happening in the Western Cape. We see that the property prices there has gone through the roof. We see that in the Western Cape there are two classes of people: the uber rich and the working class, or the extremely poor. Something needs to give. What is that something? Because if nothing is addressed at this point in time, we are going to have an uprising by the restless youth
Of course.
because they don't see a future for them. And then what about all of our corrupt politicians? Why are they not being called to account? So those are the type of issues that needs to be addressed. Why are they not being addressed?
Okay. The first point is the issue of land. Now, it's a fact that the land in the majority world, outside of the Western world, the global North, indigenous people everywhere had no concept of private ownership. People go to the Jat back in India and other places, and yes, they live in that land, but originally there was no private ownership. Private ownership got introduced with the Dutch settlement, and then Roman Dutch law came in. The other issue is when the colonizers went and took over large parts of the world until the second, their great European war, the Second World War. All of us were in a colonial occupation at that time. So it became the World War. And we're heading there again with what is happening horribly in the Middle East. And it's that resurgence. The control is not with ordinary people. In Namibia, in Zimbabwe, remember, we've got serious issues with ownership of the land. In this country, our leadership bought into private property, and yet we've got Mia's Farm and the Mall of Africa, where they have 99-year leases. Right? You cannot go to Europe and buy land. The land generally belongs elsewhere. You can't go to the UK. Except for landed gentry, a minority, the land belongs to the crown. You own the property, not the land. Now, part of the problem with that mix between what is land and what is built on it is it makes it impossible for most people to buy and own houses because you compute into that the land. That if the land question is removed from that, more people will be able to own the biggest possession in their lives, and that's their homes. Over 99-year leases, that kind of thing. It's working, but our leadership has bought into it because many of them have multiple properties all over. They've allowed foreigners to buy land. You can't go to many parts of the world and own land in those places. Now, that's one of the issues. But there isn't the will to do it because all of them who talked of a communal approach, a socialist approach, immediately became laissez-faire capitalists. So that's the big distinction. And every now and then they do a little bit of community work when it comes to Christmas and a few other periods like that. Other than that, they make wealth in the country, they extract from the country, and ownership lies with them rather than the majority. Of course, we've got slivers of upper middle class people in other black communities, but it does not count for much because they're an extreme minority. So serious issues are afoot. The entire electoral system was supposed to have been temporary. It became permanent, and the youth have been excluded from it. You cannot stand for election unless you have an Anglo-American, unless you have the Stellenbosch mafia funding you. Now, when that happens, when Sandton and Stellenbosch control the ability to participate in elections, and then you have foreigners who come here and want to break away in the Western Cape, there is chaos. We allow that. And that's because people are compromised. A lot of our leadership are compromised.
We need to wrap up. I'd love to talk with you more, but a very short and a quick answer. Two things I'd like you to just touch on very quickly. You referred to Mia's farm and obviously the mall of, what's that mall that they've put up on?
Mall of Africa.
Mall of Africa, and you alluded to a 99-year lease. How does that tie into what we're talking about, number one? And number two, back to the land restitution, and how do we start making, how do we start creating mass employment opportunities for our youth? And lastly, will free education answer our current dilemma regarding the youth? So that's about 4 questions I've given to you. Before you before you respond, if you will indulge me, please. I've just been told by my technical director that I can actually give you a little more time on the show, but can we take an ad break first, if you don't mind?
Okay.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
There are over 200 million orphans globally. We can't help all of them, but what if we each helped just one? The Al Imdad Foundation now gives you an opportunity to help just one orphan from Syria or Palestine. For just 500 Rand per month, you can help safeguard the dignity of an orphan by assisting them with basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and attention. Our orphan sponsorship program allows you to track the progress of your orphan through regular feedback. Make a difference in the life of an orphan today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and Freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Make a conscious choice. Sip for change and support Palestine Drinks Africa. With every can, you help end the genocide and stand in solidarity with Palestine. Choose between our original or sugar-free options available in the case of 24. Every sip is a step towards justice. Every purchase a powerful message of unity and support for the Palestinian cause. Contact 082 888-1440 or 082-7739-556 today and be part of the change. Palestine Drinks Africa. Sip for change. Liberty for everyone.
Searching for elite local and international investment and advisory services from an award-winning firm? Look no further than the Belmont Mayer Group, your gateway to unparalleled investment and wealth management. At Belmont Mayer, we believe in the art of wealth creation, a meticulous process fueled by our unwavering commitment to excellence. With a focus on providing elite alternative investments and quality advice, we also pride ourselves on maximizing value for our esteemed investors, as seen through our consistent outperformance. Your financial success is our top priority. Join us at Belmont Mayer and experience the difference firsthand. Ready to embark on a journey of greatness? Contact us today. Reach out to the Belmont Mayer Group on 078-786-1698. Call or WhatsApp or email us at info@belmontmayer.com. Elevate your financial future with Belmont Mayer, where every detail matters.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
It's exactly 9:04, and a reminder that this hour of News and Views is sponsored by African Muslims Agencies. Don't forget the Fired Up series with Hafiz Imran Chinara, personal excellence mentor and CEO of African Muslim Agencies, will be joining us a little later today. But right now we are still continuing our discussion with Dr. Saths Cooper. He is the president of the Pan-African Psychology Union, and we're talking about the reclaiming of the Freedom Charter. Will it restore power to the people? And I have left you with a couple of questions pre the ad break. Dr. Saths Cooper, thank you. Welcome back. Can I just make a correction here? Are you doctor or professor?
Either doesn't matter.
Which is it though, professor?
Both.
Okay, good. Yeah. Professor, thank you. Welcome back. Would you like to respond to those questions, please?
Let's deal with the issue of restitution and expropriation, right? I think it is a smokescreen. If we deal with what the Freedom Charter says, and we deal with the precepts in the Constitution, we should be in a position where we say the land shall not become an issue. It should reside as owned by the people, number one. Give them, those who owned land, some of us had maybe a property here or there, as of 94, give them 99-year leases. Anybody from that period, it could be this year, next year, etc., give them 99-year leases. Do a cutoff at a particular point, but don't bother with that now. The land should not become an obstacle. You then look at how you're going to create restitution. The Freedom Charter is very specific on it. And if they just used part of it, like the national wealth of our country, the heritage of all of us, shall be restored to the people. How do you do that? unless you do what I'm saying. The mineral wealth beneath the soil, they say, the banks, the monopoly industry, shall be transferred to the ownership of the people as a whole. Nothing is further from the truth. In fact, those institutions have become so powerful, even our government can't borrow from them. They don't participate in it. Elsewhere in the world, governments borrow from their banks. We go and borrow at huge rates from other banks in the West and get money from the World Bank and so on. So all the industry and trade shall be controlled to assist the well-being of the people. Yes, you can run it. Julie can own a business and run it, but it should be in the interests of the people, not just Julie. Julie will get inestimably richer if that wealth was to be shared equitably with people. You work for it and you take out what the value of your work is so that the business doesn't run down. So there's
Can
a
I
whole lot.
Can I just make a comment here? It sounds like a model based on socialism. Would I be correct?
Well, the Freedom Charter is a socialist
Okay.
document, very
All
clear.
right.
But it's also based on an understanding of what I started off right at the beginning, that private ownership was foreign to in the majority world outside the old colonial world. And that's why there's restrictions on foreigners who want to buy. You can't go to Indonesia and places like that and buy land because you'll be disallowed. We allow it. We allow, and you mentioned Cape Town. Cape Town has become so expensive that only the foreigners and those exploiters of our past can own it. So if you have our president owning a piece of land or two in the West, in Cape Town, plum areas, do you expect that he'll be participating in doing this to restore wealth to people? Because he's gotten used to it. So a lot of the leadership currently own multiple properties. They've been given it at rock bottom prices to traduce them to follow the old system, and we've been following it. If we stop that, if we stop learning from them and go back to certain principles, we will be far better off. In fact, post the visit, the hijacked visit to Trump, the president has been better. If he can keep that up, he'll do very well. If his Santon and Stellenbosch backers continue to sit on his back, he will become a lame duck again.
Okay, let me ask you this final question, which is very important. Everything that you have mapped out for us this morning sounds absolutely brilliant. The solution to our problems, but we do know to get it passed, to get it implemented, to get buy-in, and all of those things, it takes time to implement it. We don't have time. We need to appease our youth. We need to give them something tangible to hold on to. Otherwise, that that match you spoke about earlier on is going to light that huge explosion in the country.
Absolutely. Now, you raised something else before, and that is that education.
Free education.
Free education. Now, there is, on paper, free education. But what we've done is we have demeaned our education system. The education system now is not arguably, it's factually below what it should be. I mean, if you get a certificate at 35% in matric, what are you saying to people? Right? Now, we should be actually looking at that education system to enable people, one, to equip them with critical thinking, to equip them with the history of this country, and to equip them to become citizens who participate. Right now, all of that doesn't happen. So the education system needs an overhaul. We need our electoral system to change, and we need a system where there is direct participation, not through middle people along the way. So a whole lot, like the commissions, you were correct. Commissions should not be there because we waste money on it. Get experts to give a report like we used to do before. But you see, it's a convenience exercise to create time and smoke screens on certain things. You can't have a commission upon a commission. Like there's a few that are repeats in this country. You should have law enforcement enabled to charge those who are committing those crimes and bringing us into further disrepute and debt, because you can't go into government and steal social development money. You can't steal grants. And, you know, one of the shocking things, Julie, I was in a program with the chair of the Human Rights Commission, with the former public protector, and a student leader, Seth Mazibuko, on the 20th of March this year. And you know, the interviewer asked, what examples can you give of 30 years of democracy? We're in our 31st year now. The former public protector said, well, we still have TERS. We're giving 350 Rand money. I mean, where in whose universe can you say we are giving 350 Rand a month and that's sufficient? You know, that is such an insult. If you've got people at high places who come through as bureaucrats and others in our system, and that's how they think of our people, what do you expect people in the bottom to do? They are ignored, and as you correctly say, when they rise up, all of these people will not know where to go. Most of them in power, and most of the former exploiters and extractors have money taken out abroad. They will be okay. The rest of us just managing to meet needs are going to be the victims, because we're going to be looked at as there, but for the grace of God, go I. I should have been in that car that Cooper is driving. I should have been in that house that Julie is occupying. And that we need to deal with, because this system is unsustainable. It is violent. The narratives are colonial. We think of ourselves in diminished ways. We don't think of ourselves as human beings. We're buying into that kind of rhetoric that Netanyahu spews out. These are animals.
Absolutely.
We believe that ourselves.
And that's where we have to leave it. Always a pleasure talking with you, Professor Saths Cooper. And of course, we were talking about will reclaiming the Freedom Charter restore power to the people. It sounds and seems very, very serious indeed. And if government doesn't get off its hands and start addressing the situation, then we're certainly going to have an African spring on our hands. Thank you. God bless.
You too.
It is 16 after 9 o'clock. This is News and Views on Salam Media. Please stay with us. Lots more coming your way. And once again, a reminder that this hour is sponsored by African Muslims Agencies. And we will be taking a listen to the Fired Up series a little later on with Hafiz Imran Chunara regarding the clips that we play every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please stay with us. Lots more interviews on the show this morning.